Okay, so now we're on video 3. This is Soul Nirvana Spirituality. We're on video 3 of my experience in Sedona. Um, and what I'm talking about now is like current global issues, global things that we're going through. And one of the things I got information on was the COVID crisis, the COVID virus. And what I got was it was a biological warfare. Um, Definitely was that. It was a biological warfare that was created for um, these these people that are like that control the world. There's very few, and these people that control the world have entity attachment. Most of them are very negative and evil. There might be one or two that are benevolent, but it's almost like it's a dark and light energy, just like everything else. That's what keeps things in balance. And it was a biological weapon kind of thing that kind of got loose. It was definitely on purpose. It was for control, for political moves, and to make people live in fear. It was a fear factor thing. Um, and the fear was to control people. Um, and it all ties in together. It was also for population control. Um, so that was the other thing I got. And um, this was like a test. I guess there's going to be something that's going to be even more great than this. I don't think it's going to be a virus from what I got when I asked that question. Because after I got that information, I kind of went back and just kind of asked questions a lot to try to get more information if I could. And if I got answers on it, I did. If not, I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting for answers on a lot of stuff. Um, so it was a test. And it was like the biggest test or fire drill type thing that we're going to have before we have this huge, huge thing happen. That we will survive. We're going to win. But it's just going to cause a lot of stress and anxiety and tragedy and stuff. But with the coronavirus, with all the vaccinations, what I got was everything, even though we think this is the new normal and stuff, and the masks, and everything's taken so long, and some countries are struggling, and some aren't now, and some places are opening up, and there's no masks, and then some aren't. Some are having issues. Once they get the number of vaccinations they think they need, to whatever, to satisfy these people that are at the top of the echelon of the government or whatever, everything, of the world. Once they get enough vaccinations, everything's going to go back to normal, and it's going to be like nothing ever happened. And it's going to be like a distant memory. And what they told me to compare it to, it kind of is a really crappy thing to compare it to, is like 9/11. So when 9/11 happened, the first couple of years, we were remembering all this stuff, and everybody kind of joined together, at least in the United States, and we were proud Americans again, and we cared about our country and all this stuff. And then as time went on, it faded. A lot of people don't forget, but a lot of people have. And it's kind of a sad thing, because of the tragedies that happened that day. But that's it, kind of how what I got with the coronavirus, that after about a year or so, it's just going to be like history. Nobody's going to even think about it anymore. And we're all going to go back to our lives and travel and going into stores, and nothing's going to be like that anymore. It's just going to go back to normal. Um, Again, what I got was that was like the biggest fire drill or test we're going to have before something else happens. Um, and while they were doing this, they were doing other things that we'll find out about later on. So there were things going on behind the scenes that we had no idea about. And these things that were behind the scenes are going to come out within the next 24 months. Um, so that's the coronavirus. These shortages, most of these shortages are all man-made. It's another fear factor. So like, I just heard something about a gas shortage. That's man-made. The toilet paper shortage was man-made when that happened. Paper towels, all that stuff was man-made. Um, Part of it was to control people, to fear, to gouge prices. Um, and the vaccinations, what I also got, and it is a real thing, but the vaccinations, some of them are not good, um, and it's all a matter of money. It's all a matter of um, the pharmaceutical companies making money, and a lot of these people they have in their back pocket. Um, so these people either have stock in these companies, they have some kind of ownership, or they're controlled, they're paid off. Those are the three things with that. Um, and I guess some of the vaccinations are okay. I didn't get which brand or which one. Some of the vaccinations are okay, and some of them aren't. And if somebody gets an allergic reaction to some of these, um, it can kill them. It can honestly kill them. And they do have, um, which I kind of thought about before, um, I think they do kind of like have a random one that they send out um, that just ends up killing somebody. Um, and a lot of that's too for population control. And they like to scare us, but they also like to create some of the conspiracy theories as well. So some of the conspiracy theories that we think are actual conspiracy theories are not. They're actually made made up by these people in the higher power, to scare us even more, to make us worry even more, when they really don't have as much power over us as we think they do. But because of the mass media and, um, you know, people just being sheep and not questioning things, um, they were able to regain so much control um, in the world. And this is in every country, pretty much in every situation. It doesn't matter where it is. Doesn't matter. So we're going to see a lot of shortages. Um, there's going to be things like storms, like lots of storms coming in. Some of these storms are man-made. Plagues, like bugs, stuff like that. We're going to see it. It's going to be like biblical looking or biblical appearing, where we get like, you know, um, just these plagues of bugs and rodents and like snakes. You're just going to see weird stuff like that happening all over the world. This stuff is man-made. It's man-created. It's created by somebody to control the population, to destroy different places that they want to destroy, um, and to destroy people, to get in their mental space and really push them to the limits of where they can be. So people really have to remain strong and try not to get nervous or stressed out about this. And sometimes it could be very hard, depending on what these people have to deal with. Um, so it's really, you have to really have a really tough um, outlook and be very strong and just say to yourself or meditate that nothing is ever going to destroy you, because they're going to try. Some of them are going to try. Um, and there's a lot of people um, that are going to deal with the opposite, even with stuff going on. And I kind of put myself in this group where whatever happens, um, and please excuse my language, I don't really give a shit what happens in the outside world, um, at all. I mean, I care about people, but I'm not going to let those things affect me, those negative things. I don't give a shit what's going on. I don't give a shit about what they say. Whatever I decide and however I decide to live my life, if it's within the legal limits of society, and I just go about my stuff and mind my business, um, that's all I'm really focused on. Um, I help the, I try to help the people that I can help, be it counseling or with, things that I have that I can give to people. All the time I pray for them too. But people need to start following and using their own head and their own mind and, their own belief system and not believe what these people are telling us. That's huge. That's really huge. Um, because if you continue to follow and panic and worry, it literally destroys you internally. The stress and the worry and the fear, um, internally, these people at the top, these people that have entity attachments that are negative, that are trying to destroy our world, and destroy us globally, they know that all this stuff affects us physically. So all these internal struggles and this pain and these fears are affecting us, and they will affect us in the long term if we continue to allow that stuff to affect us that way. Um, there are people fighting for humanity. There are people that are out there in large groups that are trying to come together as a collective and heal the earth. Um, that, some people are more spiritually enlightened and aligned than others. And those people usually question everything. And they know that no matter what, everything has to come back into balance. It all does. So no matter what they try to do or how they try to um, create these negative situations and perpetuate um, this negative belief around the world that all these bad things are going to happen, in any sense of the world, um, in anywhere in the world, in any sense of the word is what I'm trying to say. Um, it's going to end. It all has to come back into balance. So these people will have to deal with their karma no matter where they are in the world, no matter how high up they go. They have to deal with that too. Um, and everything comes to an end, is the other thing I got. So everything comes to an end, and a lot of this negative stuff is going to end, so we can go again in peace and have just a beautiful world and a beautiful life again. Um, the best thing to do is connect with love, connect with your heart, connect with people that you love, that support you, and that don't put you in fear, um, and connect with people that care about you. And any toxic or negative thing, this is the best thing that anybody can do is just cut that out and try to leave it behind. And if you have to deal with people like that, very small doses. Sometimes we have no choice. We have to work amongst these people, or we have relatives that may be very toxic. We just have to deal with them in the smallest dose that we can, and just release their energy and just stay away from them as much as possible, and don't take their opinions to heart. And you need to think for yourself and not take other people's opinions, because sometimes other people can have good opinions, but sometimes they don't, and they're just steering you in the direction that they want to steer you in for their own gain or control. Just like these people that are higher up in the government that are trying to control us. It's the same thing. It's just at a different level. And sometimes you'd be surprised, because these are people that you really love and care about, that you think love you and care about you as well. And the message that I'm getting is everybody has to think as an individual. Everybody has to put themselves first in that way. You know, you can nurture, you can care for, you can love other people, but you have to care for yourself first, because you're going to be the one that goes through these lifetimes. You're going to be the one that takes your first breath and your last breath. And nobody else is going to be there with you. They might be holding your hand, but they're not going to be there to take their last breath with you most of the time. You have to take care of your health, your physical, both mental, physical, and spiritual. And this virus stuff and these shortages, they're all going to fall away at some point. They're all going to go away, because everything does have to come back into balance. And these people that control the world are always expendable. There'll always be somebody else to take their place that may change things a little bit. But us as humans, we're not expendable. We have beautiful souls, beautiful hearts that always come back in some form. And we need to connect to each other with love. So that's what I got from that, and I kind of put some more stuff into it that I feel is really necessary from the information that I got. But people just need to stop being afraid of this stuff. And whatever we have to go through, sometimes it's going to be very frustrating and aggravating, and sometimes things are going to seem a little bit smoother and lighthearted. But you have to kind of stay lighthearted in these situations to get by. And you will. You will. We're all going to be okay. Most of the deaths that happen with the COVID are pretty much done now. People might get sick, but they're going to recover much easier. The only time you'll see one is very randomly, and that's going to be negative reactions to the vaccine. And a lot of it was made up. A lot of the diagnosis was made up. And it was other problems that people had health-wise that they used, and they just generalized it and put it all in one box as a COVID virus reaction, or they died because of COVID, you know, or they had COVID when they really actually didn't. And that was to bring the numbers up so they could drive the pharmaceutical companies to make all these vaccines and create drama, scare tactics, fear, and make the political moves that they needed to make. Again. So that's what I have on that situation. Things are going to get better. And that was just a big test. So I hope you enjoyed this information. You can believe if you want. If you don't, you don't have to. This is just what I got, and this was part of my personal experience that I had with the information that I received. So I hope you enjoyed this segment, and I'm sending you love and blessings. Thank you.